The ballroom of the Silver Leaf Club in Scottsdale glittered under crystal chandeliers, its gilded mirrors reflecting the carefully curated power in the room. 48 of the Republican Party's most influential donors moved between tables draped in ivory linen, their champagne flutes catching the light like liquid gold. The air smelled of filet mignon and ambition. Ivanka Trump arrived 15 minutes late, fashionably so, her blush-colored Valentino dress whispering across the marble floor. Her team had choreographed this as a soft launch, though no one would call it that aloud. The guests understood politics was a game of plausible deniability. She moved through the room with practiced ease, pressing manicured hands against tailored suit jackets, laughing at jokes that weren't funny. At table 3, between courses of heirloom tomato salad and truffle risotto, the conversation turned to the usual villains, progressive lawmakers, the woke mob, the usual suspects. Then someone, later accounts would disagree whether it was the oil executive from Houston or the hedge fund manager from Greenwich, mentioned Jasmine Crockett, not by name. The young donor in the linen blazer would later testify. Just that loudmouth from Texas, laughter rippled through the table. A socialite from Palm Beach smirked into her Pinot Noir. She's trying to be AOC with a law degree. Ivanka set down her wineglass with deliberate calm. The diamonds at her wrists caught the light as she leaned forward. She's ghetto trash, she said, her voice carrying the same measured tone she used on CNBC. That's all she is. The silence that followed wasn't shocked. This crowd had heard worse, but wary. The kind of quiet that follows a lit match tossed near gasoline. Across the table, Miranda Cho, Yale 09, former RNC Deputy Communications Director, didn't react. But 2 hours later, parked in her Tesla outside the Ritz-Carlton, she typed a text with trembling fingers. Ivanka went nuclear on Crockett tonight. You need to hear this. Jasmine Crockett was reviewing flood insurance maps when her chief of staff appeared in the doorway. Andre McMillan didn't speak, just extended his phone like a surgeon handing off a scalpel. The headline glared up at her. Ivanka Trump allegedly called Congresswoman ghetto trash at closed door fundraiser. The office air conditioning hummed. Somewhere down the hall a copier beeped. So she thinks I'm trash, Jasmine said finally. Her voice was dangerously calm. Andre sank into the chair across from her. She thinks she's safe behind $200 plates and NDA. He tapped the phone, but someone in that room wanted you to know. Outside, a summer storm darkened the Capitol dome. Jasmine's gaze tracked the rain streaking the windows. When she spoke again, her voice had the precision of a closing argument. Get me on MSNBC tonight. The green room at MSNBC smelled of hairspray and coffee. Jasmine sat motionless as a makeup artist dusted highlighter across her cheekbones. You sure you don't want talking points? Andre murmured, checking his watch. Jasmine examined her reflection. The studio lights would wash her out, so she'd chosen a cobalt blue blazer, the exact shade of the Texas flag. I've argued before the Fifth Circuit with less prep, she said. This isn't complicated. The floor manager counted down, 2 fingers, 1. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett joins us tonight, said anchor Carla Mendez, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. You've heard the leaked audio. What's your response? Jasmine let the pause linger just a beat too long. Those 2 words, ghetto trash, they're older than Ivanka Trump. She leaned forward, her cadence slowing like a professor starting a lecture. In 1934, ghetto described redline neighborhoods, banks starved of loans. In 1963, it was spray, painted on protest signs when black families moved to white suburbs. Her voice sharpened. And trash, that's what they called Fannie Lou Hamer when she testified about police brutality, what they wrote about Shirley Kishome's presidential bid. Carla opened her mouth, but Jasmine wasn't done. When you say ghetto trash, you're not describing me. You're describing the locked doors you think I shouldn't knock on. She looked directly into camera too. But here's the thing about trash. It's what's left after you've used everything else, and we're done being discarded. The segment trended for 72 hours. Teachers played it in civics classes. A street artist in Detroit muraled her face beside the quote, "If I'm trash, America's had a sanitation problem since 1776. Ivanka's team went radio silent. No denial, no apology, just a scheduled Instagram post of her baking cookies with Barron. The strategy was obvious. Starve the story of oxygen. It backfired. Donors started defecting. First the tech billionaire in Austin, then the pharmaceutical heiress in Connecticut. By week's end, Politico ran a headline, Trump allies jump ship as Crockett's influence grows. Jasmine, meanwhile, doubled down on policy. She introduced a voting rights bill co-sponsored by 3 Republicans. She headlined a fundraiser for HBCU scholarships that raised $1 million. Every move was deliberate, each speech layered with subtext. This is what trash builds. The final blow came from an unexpected source. At a private RNC retreat in Key Biscayne, a recording surfaced of Ivanka ranting to aides. She's leveraging this like some street hustler. The word street curled off her tongue like a slur. The clip went viral. Forbes rescinded Ivanka's Power Woman A nomination. A luxury handbag line dropped her as ambassador. The morning after the midterms, Jasmine stood on her Arlington balcony watching the sunrise gild the Potomac. Andre joined her holding 2 coffees and a printout of exit polls. You won Latino voters by 18 points, he said, suburban women by 12. Jasmine sipped her coffee. The bracelet from that Savannah girl, now frayed from wear, slid down her wrist. Not bad for trash, she said softly. Somewhere in Manhattan, a penthouse sat empty, its owner suddenly unavailable for comment. But in Tallahassee, Toledo, and 100 other cities, new voters checked Crockett on sample ballots, their voices rising like a chorus no door could silence.